Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world one book at a time.
Today, we are opening up a text that is, well, it's arguably one of the most culturally significant yet fundamentally misinterpreted novels of the late 20th century.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. It's a book that people think is about fistfights, but it's really a rigorous manual on the collapse of modern identity.
Exactly. We are talking about Chuck Palahniuk's 1996 debut, Fight Club.
And I want to set the table here because for a lot of people, this title just immediately summons up images of Brad Pitt, shirtless, smoking a cigarette.
Oh, absolutely. It evokes a certain frat boy energy that the film adaptation it accidentally canonized it in a way.
But that's not what we're here to do. We are not doing a movie review today.
No, not at all. We are looking at the source text, and we're looking at it through a systemic lens. Because if you strip away all the shock value, the bare-knuckle boxing, the anarchy, the explosives, what you have left is a terrifyingly accurate map of a specific feedback loop.
And it asks a really fundamental question, doesn't it?
It does. It asks, why does a society built on maximum comfort and safety produce a population that is just desperate to blow it all up?
It's the paradox of the modern condition. I mean, we have everything we need to survive, yet we've never felt less alive.
That is the core inquiry of this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to look at Fight Club not as a glorification of violence, but more like a diagnostic tool.
A diagnostic tool, I like that. So we want to trace the path from, say, the IKEA catalog to the homemade bomb.
Exactly.
Right.
How does a person go from obsessing over a coffee table to leading a domestic terrorist cell? What are the mechanical steps in that psychological breakdown?
And I think it's important to clarify our mission here. We are not endorsing the solutions the book presents. The Project Mayhem solution is, it's obviously catastrophic.
Completely. But we need to understand the problem that makes Project Mayhem look like a solution to these characters.
Right. You have to understand the disease before you can understand the symptoms.
Precisely. We are mapping the structural systems, consumerism, corporate dehumanization, the father deficit, and how they create this vacuum that dangerous ideologies then just rush in to fill.
So let's start with the architect of this whole thing, Chuck Palahniuk. This book didn't just come out of nowhere, did it? It wasn't written by a guy sitting in a creative writing MFA program in some velvet chair.
Not even close. Palahniuk was in the trenches. He was working as a diesel mechanic for Freightliner at the time.
A diesel mechanic.
Yeah. I mean, he was writing this novel in the noisy, greasy breaks between fixing these massive trucks. He was very much embedded in that working-class, blue-collar reality.
Yeah.
But he was also observing the white-collar shift happening all around him.
And there's that famous origin story about the book, The Bruised Face Incident. I think that really sets the tone for the kind of isolation we're going to be talking about.
Oh, it's a crucial piece of context. It's everything. So Palahniuk had gone on a camping trip and gotten into a brawl, a real messy fight. He came back to work on Monday morning, and his face was just a disaster. Bruised, swollen, stitches. He looked like he'd been through a car wreck.
And you'd expect people to ask, right? Oh my God, Chuck, are you okay? What happened?
That's what you would think a human community would do. But in the corporate polite society of the 90s workplace, nobody said a single word.
Nothing.
Nothing. His coworkers just looked away. They pretended not to see the bruises because acknowledging them would require a conversation. It would require intimacy. It would require dealing with someone else's pain.
That's chilling. It's a willful blindness.
I will ignore your physical destruction so I don't have to feel socially awkward.
And that specific feeling that you could be physically falling apart and the system around you would just politely ignore it, that became the seed of Fight Club. Palahniuk realized that in this world of hollow prosperity, we are terrified of anything real, anything messy. So we just edit it out.
He calls the book apostolic fiction, which is a term I hadn't heard before in this context. It sounds almost religious. It is, in a literary sense. He compares it to The Great Gatsby.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, in both books, you have a narrator, a survivor, who is telling the story of a hero or a charismatic figure who dies or disappears. The narrator is the apostle left behind to write the gospel.
So Meek Carraway writes the Gospel of Gatsby.
And our narrator writes the gospel of Tyler Durden.
That framing immediately changes how you view Tyler. He isn't just a bad influence or some cool friend. He's a messiah figure for a godless world.
That's it, exactly. And to understand why a messiah is needed, we have to look at the hell these characters are living in.
Yeah.
But it's a very specific kind of hell. It's not poverty. It's not war.
It's the hell of the 1990s, the era of the end of history. The Cold War is over, the economy's booming. For the middle class, the struggle for survival is basically solved.
And it was replaced by lifestyle management. Which brings us to our first major system, the system of consumer identity, or as the narrator calls it, the IKEA nesting instinct.
This is where the book is just darkly hilarious. The narrator lives in this high-rise condo that he describes as a filing cabinet for widows and young professionals. And he is obsessed, absolutely obsessed, with furnishing it.
But he isn't just buying furniture. He is constructing a self. The text is so specific here. He doesn't just buy a chair. He buys the Johanneshof armchair in the strident green stripe pattern.
Right. He buys the Rislampahar wire lamps. He lists them off like a litany, like a prayer.
I had to have it, he says. He talks about the sofa problem.
The sofa problem.
Yeah, he believes that if he finds the perfect sofa, the sofa problem will be solved forever. It's this theological belief in completeness. He thinks, if I buy the set of Junrunde coffee tables, I will be a complete human being. I will be finished.
It's the idea that your identity is just an external collection of objects. If my condo looks like the catalog, then I am okay. My life is complete.
But look at the feedback loop this creates. He achieves this perfection. He gets the perfect condo. But instead of feeling satisfied, he just feels trapped. He becomes terrified of a stain. He becomes a custodian of his own life, not a participant in it.
And there's that famous line, maybe the most famous line from the book, the things you used to own, now they own you.
That is the psychological outcome of this entire system. The objects gain agency and the human loses it.
Yeah.
The narrator is a slave to his nesting instinct. And this is why the explosion of his condo, which happens really early in the book, is framed not as a tragedy, but as a liberation.
When his apartment blows up and his Klipsch shelving units and his Hemling hat boxes are raining down into the street, it really is like a prison break.
It's an eviction from the womb of consumerism. He's forced out of the filing cabinet and into the chaotic, dirty, real world. But before he can fully break free, we have to understand the other trap he's in, the work trap.
And this is system number 2, corporate dehumanization. The narrator has a job that seems like it was designed by a committee to crush the human soul. He is a recall campaign coordinator.
And this is so important. He isn't just a generic office drone. His specific role is to apply a formula to human suffering.
The A times B times C formula.
Right, let's break that down because it is the coldest math in literature. He explains that when a car defect is discovered, they take the number of vehicles in the field, which is A.
Okay.
They multiply it by the probable rate of failure, B. Then they multiply that by the average cost of an out-of-court settlement, C.
A times B times C equals X.
And at X, the cost of the settlements is less than the cost of a recall. They don't do the recall.
They just let people die.
They let them burn to death in faulty vehicles because it is cheaper to mail a check to the grieving family than to fix the engineering.
And the narrator is the guy who makes that call. He's the one traveling to the crash sites, looking at the wreckage, and just doing the math.
Think about the moral injury that inflicts on a person. He sees the burnt bodies, he smells the smoke, but his job requires him to view them as variables in an equation. He has to shut down his empathy to get his paycheck.
So is this where the insomnia comes from? This has to be it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
He can't sleep because he is dissociating. He describes everything as a copy of a copy. He prays for plane crashes when he travels just to feel a moment of finality of something real.
He's living in this continuous low-grade horror where nothing is real and nothing matters. It's a spiritual depression.
Yes. And the system of the corporation enforces this numbness. You are not allowed to scream. You are not allowed to be angry. You are the recall coordinator. You are a function, not a man.
So you've got this pressure cooker, the IKEA trap on one side, the corporate numbness on the other, and it eventually creates a crack in his psyche. But before Tyler Durden fully takes the wheel, the narrator tries to treat himself. He tries to find a cure.
This is a step people often forget. He goes to support groups.
Remaining men together, free and clear. He becomes a tourist in human misery.
Which brings us to our third system. Pain as a substitute for meaning. The narrator realizes that he can't feel anything in his normal life. But if he goes to a group for men with testicular cancer or people with brain parasites, suddenly the social contract changes.
He says, when people think you're dying, they really listen to you, instead of just waiting for their turn to speak.
I mean, what a profound indictment of our normal social interactions. We are so busy posturing, so busy with our lifestyle management that we never actually connect. But death just cuts through all the bullshit.
And why does he fixate on the testicular cancer group specifically with Big Bob?
I think it connects directly to the theme of emasculation. These are men who have literally lost the biological markers of manhood. They're embracing one another, crying, being vulnerable in a way the corporate world absolutely forbids.
Right.
The narrator buries his face in Big Bob's giant chest, and Bob has developed breasts because of his hormone imbalance. And finally, he can sleep.
He finds release in the surrender. Losing all hope was freedom.
Exactly. The support groups work because they're a safe space to be bottomed out. He simulates hitting rock bottom every night he cries, and then he goes home to his condo feeling refreshed. It's parasitic. He's vampiring their authenticity.
But then the glitch appears. Marla Singer.
Marla ruins everything because she is a faker too.
She's doing the exact same thing. She's at the testicular cancer group of all places.
When he sees her, he sees his own lie reflected back at him. And he can't let go. He can't cry because she knows he isn't dying. The mirror's held up and the release valve just jams shut. The insomnia comes back with a vengeance.
And because that passive release of the support groups is gone, he needs something stronger. He needs an active release. He needs Tyler Durden.
And this is where we transition to the actual Fight Club. But notice the progression. He tried buying things with IKEA. That failed. He tried borrowing sympathy from the support groups. That failed. So now he tries manufacturing pain.
The shift from remaining men together to Fight Club is so drastic. One is all about hugging. The other is about getting your teeth knocked out.
But structurally, they serve the same purpose. To feel real. To break the numbness.
There's a specific scene that I think captures this philosophy perfectly. The chemical burn.
The lie kiss.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
This is the theological center of Tyler's entire belief system.
Can you walk us through it?
So, Tyler and the narrator are in that dilapidated house on Paper Street. Tyler wets the narrator's hand with a kiss, then he pours drain cleaner lye onto the wet skin.
And lye creates a chemical reaction with water. It generates intense heat. It literally cooks the flesh.
It's agonizing. And the narrator's first instinct is to escape the pain mentally. He tries to use the guided meditation he learned in the support groups. He tries to slide into his cave to find his power animal, which is a penguin, by the way.
A penguin, right. And Tyler just slaps him. He screams at him. He says, no, stay with the pain.
And the narrator's like, why? Why does he want him to suffer?
Because Tyler believes the narrator is asleep at the wheel. He believes the narrator is using the penguin and the meditation to avoid the reality of the moment. Tyler says, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
He wants the scar to be a landmark, a reminder.
He wants the narrator to accept his own mortality. Not in a woe-is-me support group way, but in a visceral, burning, flesh-melting way. He tells him, this is the greatest moment of your life and you're missing it.
It's perverse, but you can see the logic. In a world of numbing anesthesia, pain is the only undeniable truth. You can't fake a chemical burn.
Right, and Tyler frames this structurally. He talks about how they are the middle children of history. And this brings us to a massive theme that we really need to unpack. The father deficit.
The God's middle children speech. It's so central.
Tyler says, we are a generation of men raised by women. He posits that the fathers were absent, either physically gone or emotionally absent because they were too busy chasing that corporate dream, the IKEA dream.
So these men have no blueprint. They have no idea how to be men. They try to find it in marriage. I'm wondering if another woman is really the answer we need. They try to find it in jobs.
And they fail, so they look for a father figure. And who steps into that role?
Tyler. But Tyler also frames this relationship with God. He says, our fathers were our models for God. If our fathers bailed, what does that tell you about God?
He says God doesn't care about us.
He goes even further. He says, listen to me. You have to consider the possibility that God does not like you. He never wanted you. In all probability, he hates you.
That is just terrifying. Why would anyone want to believe that?
Because hate is better than indifference. This is the key psychological insight here. Being ignored, being a recall coordinator that nobody looks at, having a bruised face that nobody mentions, that is hell.
But if God hates you...
If God hates you, if God is your enemy, then at least you exist. At least you matter enough to be an adversary.
It is better to burn down the village and feel the warmth than to die of cold.
Exactly. Tyler offers them a narrative where their pain has meaning. They aren't losers. They are soldiers in a war against the Almighty. They're the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world, and they are going to make God notice them by destroying his creation.
And this leads perfectly into how Fight Club evolves. It starts as two guys in a parking lot, then it's a basement full of guys, but then it mutates into Project Mayhem.
And this is insight number 4, rebellion as a rigid system.
It's fascinating to watch the hypocrisy develop. I mean, Tyler preaches freedom, he preaches you are not your job, but then he creates Project Mayhem, which is, well, it's frankly fascist.
It is entirely fascist, and that's the trap. The anti-system becomes its own system.
Let's look at the space monkeys. These are the disciples who move into the house on Paper Street.
They shave their heads. They wear identical black uniforms. They aren't allowed to have names. They refer to themselves only as Space Monkey.
They act like a hive mind. There's a scene where the narrator watches them work, and they're reciting these chants, moving in perfect synchronization.
Tyler has recreated the exact corporate structure he claimed to hate, just with different aesthetics. Instead of a boss, they have Tyler. Instead of a suit and tie, they have black shirts. Instead of being a recall coordinator, you are a space monkey.
They've just traded a corporate manufactured identity for a cult manufactured identity.
And the cult identity is even more restrictive. In the corporate world, you're a number. In Project Mayhem, you are just decaying organic matter. You are asked to give up your life.
In death, a member of Project Mayhem has a name. His name is Robert Paulson.
But only in death. That's the carrot. You can reclaim your humanity only by sacrificing it completely for the cause. It's another feedback loop of alienation. You join the rebellion to feel free, but the rebellion demands your total submission.
And the tasks they do, it's not just fighting anymore. It's terrorism. It's organized destruction of art, of buildings.
And they do it with the same cold efficiency the narrator used to calculate car recalls. They treat destruction as just another job.
There is one element of their job that we have to discuss because it is the most perfect, grotesque, economic loop in the entire book. The soap.
Ah, the Paper Street Soap Company.
Oh.
Our next insight, the commodification of revolt.
To anyone who hasn't read the book in a while, Tyler and the narrator make money by selling this high-end boutique soap to department stores.
And the secret ingredient is human fat,
which they steal from the dumpsters of liposuction clinics.
Let's just sit with the mechanics of this for a second. They break into the medical waste zones. They steal these bags of gelatinous human fat that was sucked out of wealthy people because they consumed too much.
The literal fat of the land.
They take this fat back to Paper Street. They render it down. They mix it with lye, the same lye used to burn the narrator's hand. They add some aromatics. And then they sell it back to the very same class of people who paid to have the fat removed in the first place.
At $20 a bar.
It is the ultimate capitalist joke. The rich pay to have their excess removed. Then Tyler packages that excess and sells it back to them as a luxury product to wash their faces with.
It was the only way to get rid of the orange peel texture.
It proves that the system absorbs everything. Even the rebellion against consumerism becomes a consumer product. Tyler's funding his war on capitalism by being a more ruthless capitalist. He understands the market better than the people he hates.
It's just devastating. There is no outside. You're either buying the sofa or you're buying the soap made of yourself. There's no escape.
And this brings us to the system's mapping of the characters. We see the narrator as the everyman victim. Tyler is the shadow, the projection of power and rage. But what about Marla? We kind of left her back at the support groups, but she is essential to the ending.
Marla is the only other real person in the book, I think. She's the glitch in the system.
She represents the bottom that the narrator's trying to hit. Tyler wants to destroy the world to feel something. Marla just wants to survive it. She's messy, she's suicidal, but she's present.
And the narrator's journey is realizing that he doesn't want to be Tyler. He wants to be with Marla.
He realizes that Tyler's path Project Mayhem is a dead end. It's just death. It's not liberation, it's nihilism.
So we have to talk about the ending. And I mean the book ending. Because if you only know the movie, you know the buildings fall down and the Pixies play Where Is My Mind?
The movie ending is almost romantic. The book ending is, well, it's institutional.
In the book, the narrator realizes Tyler plans to blow up the Parker Morris building and plans to be inside it when it goes. A martyrdom.
So the narrator confronts Tyler. He finally realizes that Tyler is just a construct in his own mind. To kill Tyler, he has to kill himself. So he puts the gun in his own mouth and pulls the trigger.
But he doesn't die.
No. He wakes up in a white room. He thinks he's in heaven. He thinks the psychiatrist sitting across from him is God.
Which fits perfectly with his obsession with God's judgment, doesn't it?
Perfectly. But he isn't in heaven. He's in a mental institution. And here is the kicker, the part that just haunts me. The orderlies. The staff at the hospital, they bring him his lunch.
And they whisper to him.
They lean in and they whisper, "We look forward to getting you back, Mr. Durden." Or, "We miss you, Mr. Durden. Everything is going according to plan."
Wait, so the members of Project Mayhem, they're running the asylum.
They are everywhere. They are the invisible people serving the food and cleaning the floors. The system of rebellion has survived the revel.
So even though the narrator has rejected Tyler, he shot him, he's tried to kill the idea. The idea is out in the world now. It's self-sustaining.
Exactly. You cannot kill the feedback loop just by removing the operator. The space monkeys don't need Tyler anymore. They have the manual. They have the ideology. The narrator is trapped in the legend he created. He can never go back to being just a guy. He is the messiah of destruction, whether he wants to be or not.
That is a much darker, much more cynical ending. It basically says you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
And it connects to our crisis and perception theme perfectly. The narrator perceived his problem as personal. I need better furniture, or I need to be tougher. But the problem was systemic. And his solution, Project Mayhem, became just another system that chewed him up and spat him out.
So let's pivot to the present day. I mean, why are we talking about this book in 2026? It was written pre-9/11, pre-smartphone, pre-social media.
And yet it predicted the current landscape of, well, the male identity crisis with frightening accuracy.
The father deficit seems more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. We see a generation of young men who feel completely unmoored. The traditional markers of adulthood, buying a house, that nesting instinct, having a stable career for life, those are largely gone or unattainable for many.
So the promise of the system is broken down.
Right. And when the promise breaks, the vacuum opens.
Yeah.
And look at online radicalization. Look at the manosphere. It follows the Tyler Durden playbook to a T.
It targets the lonely, the bored, the guys who feel invisible.
And it tells them, you are not a loser. You are a warrior. The system is rigged against you. Women or society or God hates you. Here is a uniform. Here is a mission. Here's an enemy.
It gives them a Project Mayhem.
It gives them meaning. Toxic meaning, destructive meaning, but meaning nonetheless. Palahniuk showed us that people will choose a destructive identity over no identity at all. They would rather be a space monkey blowing up a building than a recall coordinator rotting in a condo.
And the scary part is that infrastructure leverage. That scene where the waiters threaten the police commissioner, we cook your meals, we haul your trash, we connect your calls.
That realization that the invisible class runs the machinery of the world is such a potent revolutionary idea. It's a reminder that society is fragile. It relies on the consent of the people at the bottom. And if those people decide to stop consenting and start putting lie in the soup, the whole thing collapses.
So where does this leave us? We've analyzed the trap of consumerism, the trap of corporate numbness, and the trap of violent rebellion. Is there a fourth option? Is there a way out?
That is the question the book just leaves hanging in the air. The narrator tries to find it with Marla. He tries to find a human connection that isn't based on buying things or destroying things.
But the tragedy is, he might have found it too late.
I think the lesson for us, for you listening, is to recognize these systems in your own lives. To see the IKEA nesting instinct for what it is, a hollow promise. To see the allure of burning it all down for what it is, just another trap.
To find a way to be real without losing your humanity in the process.
Precisely. To find meaning that isn't manufactured by a corporation or by a cult leader.
That feels like a solid place to land. This has been a heavy one, but a necessary one.
It's a book that demands to be looked at directly, bruises and all.
We want to give full credit to Chuck Palahniuk for the novel Fight Club. If you've only seen the movie or if you haven't read the book in 20 years, I really urge you to pick it up. The prose style, the chorus of rules, the haiku-like repetition is an experience that the screen can't quite capture.
It's a jagged, uncomfortable, and brilliant read.
This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis and Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon.
For a shorter visual overview of this topic, see the mini explainer linked in the description.
If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.